The day my grandmother died, my Aunt Nicole wore pearls to the funeral. Not the understated kind, the gaudy look-at-me strings that clicked together when she moved. Even then, I knew something wasn't right. My name is Ava, and I spent more time with my grandmother in her final years than anyone else in our family. While Aunt Nicole and my cousin Tiffany were busy attending charity galas and posting Instagram stories from the Hamptons, I was the one bringing Gran her crossword puzzles and Earl Grey tea every Sunday. "Let's proceed with the reading," the estate lawyer announced, shuffling papers in the mahogany-panelled office. I sat quietly, hands folded in my lap, watching Nicole's perfectly manicured fingers drum against her designer purse. The shock came in waves. First, the house. All $2.3 million of it went to Nicole, then the investment portfolio to Tiffany. By the time the lawyer reached my name, Nicole's smile had grown so wide it threatened to crack her face. And to my granddaughter Ava, I leave my 1966 Chevrolet sedan. The room fell silent before Nicole's laugh shattered it. "Oh, that old rust bucket. How fitting." I felt my cheeks burn as Tiffany snickered behind her hand. The car hadn't run in decades. Later that evening, I stood alone in Gran's garage, staring at my inheritance. The faded blue paint was peeling, and the tyres were flat. But when I opened the glove compartment, a folded note fluttered out. My hands trembled as I read, "Not everything is what it seems. Drive forward even if the engine doesn't start. Grandma." I traced her handwriting with my finger, remembering how she always said patience was a virtue. Maybe she wasn't just talking about crossword puzzles after all. 2 years later, I still couldn't escape that car's shadow. Thanksgiving at Tiffany's new mansion, bought with her inheritance, of course, felt like walking into a trap. "Oh my God, Ava!" Tiffany squealed, glass of champagne sloshing as she gestured around her marble-floored foyer. "You should see what I did with the East Wing. The interior designer said it's absolutely divine." I forced a smile, clutching my store-bought pumpkin pie. My brother Samson caught my eye from across the room and gave me a sympathetic look. "Speaking of vehicles," Aunt Nicole's voice carried over the dinner table later. "Ava, darling, how's that special inheritance of yours? Still taking up space in some junkyard?" The table erupted in laughter. Even Uncle Edward, usually buried in his phone, looked up to smirk. "Actually," I started, but Tiffany cut me off. "Mum, remember when we drove past it last month?" The rust was practically glowing in the sunset. So, Instagram-worthy if you're going for that urban decay aesthetic. My hands shook under the table. "I need some air," I managed, pushing back my chair. Samson followed me onto the terrace. "Sis, I'm sorry. They're being awful." "Then say something," I whispered. He shifted uncomfortably. "You know how they are. Nicole practically owns the family business now. I can't risk..." "Risk what?" "Standing up for what's right." I grabbed my purse. "Tell them I got food poisoning or something. I'm done." My best friend Hazel was waiting at our favourite diner 20 minutes later. "You need to sell that car for scrap," she said, sliding me a slice of pie. "Let it go." I thought about Gran's note, still tucked in my wallet. "Actually," I said slowly, "I think it's time I got it looked at. Really looked at." The next morning, I called every vintage car restoration shop in the city. "Miss Ava, you need to get down here. Now." The mechanic's voice crackled through my phone, carrying an urgency that made my heart skip. I rushed to Lamar's vintage auto, where my grandmother's car sat partially dismantled. Lamar stood waiting, his weathered face unreadable. "Found something during the teardown." He led me to the vehicle. "Look here." He pointed to a false panel beneath the back seat, now exposed. "Never seen anything like it in a '66 model." My hands trembled as I reached into the hidden compartment. First came a sealed envelope, then a velvet pouch heavy with what felt like coins, and finally, a safety deposit box key. "There's more," Lamar said, stepping back respectfully. A legal document, pristine despite its age, emerged last. The header read, "Last Will and Testament." Oh my God. My voice barely made it past my lips. I opened my grandmother's letter first. My dearest Ava, if you're reading this, you've proven what I always knew about you. Patience, persistence. The car wasn't the inheritance. It was the test. The real will is in your hands now. Nicole and Tiffany's true inheritance? $500 each. The rest is yours, my dear. They showed their colours long ago, but I needed proof for the courts. You've earned this, not just by finding it, but by being the person you are. Love, Grandma. My phone was in my hand before I finished reading. Hazel, cancel everything. You need to hear this. What's going on? I looked at the documents spread across Lamar's workbench, years of humiliation transforming into sweet vindication. Remember how Aunt Nicole always said karma doesn't exist? Well, I think Grandma just proved her wrong. This will is ironclad, Valerie Meyer announced, adjusting her glasses as she examined the documents spread across her desk. Your grandmother was meticulous. Every I dotted, every T crossed. Hazel squeezed my hand as the lawyer continued. The safety deposit box contents are crucial. Bank records, property deeds, even documented conversations where your aunt pressured your grandmother during her final months. Valerie leaned forward. We have everything we need to challenge the previous distribution. What happens next? I asked. We file immediately. Nicole and Tiffany will be served papers within days. She paused, her expression serious. Be prepared. They'll have to vacate all properties within 30 days of the court's decision. Hazel's eyes widened. That means Tiffany's precious mansion. Gone, Valerie confirmed, along with everything else they received. They'll owe back rent for the time they've occupied the properties. My phone buzzed. Another text from Tiffany about some charity gala she was hosting. I silenced it. This will get ugly, Valerie warned. Family wars usually do. Are you ready for that? I thought about 2 years of snide comments, of watching them flaunt their stolen wealth, of Thanksgiving dinners spent swallowing my pride along with dry turkey. They made it ugly the moment they thought they could get away with it, I replied. I want them to know this wasn't random. Grandma saw exactly who they were. Valerie nodded, reaching for her legal pad. Then let's prepare your statement for court. And Ava? She looked up, a glimmer in her eye. Your grandmother would be proud. She built this trap, but you had the courage to spring it. I smiled, feeling stronger than I had in years. Let's show them what karma looks like in legal documents. They did what? Samson's coffee cup clattered against the saucer as I showed him the private investigator's report. Manipulated Gran during her final months, I said, sliding the documents across the cafe table. Look at these bank transfers. The donations to Nicole's charity that mysteriously ended up in her personal account. My brother's face darkened as he read. I always wondered why Gran seemed so different those last few months. Nicole barely let anyone see her alone. Now we know why. I pulled out Gran's letter. Read it. His hands shook as he finished. Jesus, Ava, I'm so sorry. I should have stood up for you. You can now, I said quietly. Valerie says your statement about Nicole restricting Gran's visitors would help the case. He ran his hands through his hair. They'll cut me off from the family business. They won't have a business to cut you off from soon. Everything reverts to me, remember? Samson looked up, realization dawning. You'd keep me on? Of course. You're my brother. I reached for his hand. But I need you to do something first. Anything. Come to dinner at Tiffany's tomorrow night. Bring your phone. Record everything. You're doing it tomorrow, I nodded. Valerie's serving the papers during dessert. I want to see their faces when they realize Gran outsmarted them. Samson squeezed my hand. Count me in. It's time they learned you don't mess with family. No, I corrected, thinking of the rusty car that started it all. It's time they learned you don't underestimate the quiet ones. More wine, Ava. Tiffany gestured with the crystal decanter, her diamond bracelet catching the chandelier light. It's a special vintage, only $800 a bottle. Just water, thanks. I checked my phone. 7:58 p.m. 2 minutes. Nicole clinked her glass. A toast. To family, to success, and to... The doorbell cut her off. I'll get it, I said, standing. After all, it's technically my house now. The room fell silent. Tiffany's fork clattered onto her plate. I opened the door to reveal Valerie, document folder in hand. Right on time. What's the meaning of this? Nicole demanded as we returned to the dining room. Legal papers, Valerie announced, distributing envelopes. Notice of eviction and repayment demands, effective immediately. Tiffany ripped her envelope open, face draining of colour. This is a joke, right? I pulled out Gran's letter. Actually, it's karma. Should I read this aloud, Aunt Nicole? The part where Gran details how you pressured her while she was sick? Or maybe the bank records showing where her donations really went? You ungrateful little... Nicole lunged forward, but Samson stepped between us. It's over, Aunt Nicole. We have everything on record. Tiffany grabbed her wine glass and hurled it against the wall. This is my house. No, I said calmly. It never was. You have 30 days to vacate. Oh, and you owe me 2 years back rent. Both of you. We'll fight this, Nicole sputtered. Please do. I smiled. The court loves family drama, especially when there's video evidence. Right, Samson? He held up his phone, still recording. You can't... Tiffany started. I can. I did. And unlike you both, I earned it honestly. I stood up. Enjoy your last dinner in my house. Have you seen Tiffany's Instagram? Hazel asked, helping me unpack boxes in my new home, a charming cottage Gran had kept secret from Nicole. She's gone full victim mode. Family betrayal this, and blood isn't always thicker than water, that. Hard to play victim when there's proof you stole from your dying grandmother, I replied, hanging Gran's favourite painting. My phone buzzed again. The 5th call from Nicole today. Delete. The country club's buzzing, Hazel continued. Apparently Nicole got uninvited from the charity board. Something about questionable financial practices coming to light. I sat on a window seat, watching movers carry Tiffany's designer furniture out of what used to be her house. Funny how karma works. Speaking of work, Samson called from the doorway. The family company's quarterly reports are ready for your review, boss. I grinned. How's Nicole's old office? Smaller, without all her stolen artwork. He paused. She tried to get in this morning. Security had to escort her out. Any regrets? Hazel asked softly. Before I could answer, my phone chimed. A text from Lamar. Found something else in the car, hidden in the side panel. You might want to see this. An hour later, I sat in his garage, holding another letter from Gran. P.S. Ava, if you're reading this, you've won. But remember, forgiveness is optional. Peace? That's your birthright. Don't let their bitterness become yours. I traced her words, thinking of Nicole's desperate calls and Tiffany's social media meltdown. You okay? Hazel asked. Yeah, I said, tucking the note away. I think I finally am. The restored 66 Chevy purred as I drove up the mountain road, Gran's favourite spot coming into view. Beside me, my laptop displayed the final draft of my article, What My Rusty Inheritance Taught Me About Family. My phone lit up. Tiffany again. Can we talk, please? Mum's a mess, and I just want... Delete. Block. Done. I parked at the Overlook, the same place Gran used to bring me for ice cream and life lessons. The city sparkled below, including the building where I'd just signed papers establishing the Eleanor Grace Scholarship Fund for automotive restoration students. You'd love this, Gran, I whispered, running my hand along the car's pristine dashboard. My phone rang, Samson this time. Hey sis, you won't believe who showed up at the office today. Nicole, crying about second chances. What did you tell her? That karma doesn't give refunds. He paused. The board approved your proposal, by the way. The company's going entirely ethical investment. No more shady charity schemes. Gran would be proud, I said, watching the sunset paint the sky. You okay up there by yourself? Actually, yeah. I smiled, thinking of the rusty car that started it all. I'm exactly where I need to be. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and added the final line to my article. They thought they'd buried me in scrap metal and shame. But here's the thing about being underestimated. When people are busy looking down on you, they never see you rising. And rise I did, in a restored '66 Chevy, carrying my grandmother's wisdom and my own hard-earned truth. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting better. I hit publish and drove home, leaving the past where it belonged, in my rearview mirror.